Welcome or welcome back to Pushing Puzzles. We are completing a 100-piece Kodak premium puzzle today. If you will recall, this is one of the puzzles my mama bought me after she promised me that she would give me one of her million puzzles that she already has at her house. Yeah, that's one of them. So also I want to talk to you about this verse that the Lord used to eat me up while I was reading this week, James 5:19 through 20. So I will talk about what I discerned after I get organized. Let me hit you right back. For context, when I study at home, I read the Message version of the Bible. The Bible that goes outside is my She Reads Truth Bible. It's CSB version, Christian Standard Bible. But since you're with me in my house, we're going to do the Message version. James 5:19 through 20 reads, "My dear friends, if you know people who have wandered off from God's truth, don't write them off. Go after them. Get them back, and you will have rescued precious lives from destruction and prevented an epidemic of wandering away from God." Honestly, I saw this verse after I watched Pastor Philip from the 2819 church talk about leaving the 99 to get the one in a recent sermon. And he was reading through Matthew 18:10 through 14. Read it when you get a moment. At first, when I saw his message, I immediately skipped it. And let me tell you why. You know how you can love a song at first and then you hear it all summer, so you never want to hear it again? I hate to say that about the word, but after your favorite Christian artists have worn it out in every hook, every verse, every t-shirt, every tattoo, every ghetto, every city, I have had enough. It's like we all became aware of the verse at the same exact time. So, but Pastor Philip's sermon really, truly brought me to tears by the end, because I remember so many times where I've been the one, way more than once. And eventually people stopped coming to get me. I grew up as a church kid, but I didn't get saved until I was like 16. I said that because there's some church kids who know the Lord and the Lord comes and get them at 9, 10, 11. That was not me. I was 16, and I was raised in church, and Jesus was my Savior and Lord until I was 19. There's a distinction there. We may get to that today. We may get to that later, but it is important that He is both. So He was my Savior and Lord until I was 19. Those 3 years where I was completely day in and day out, hand in hand with God, were the most dynamic years of my life. It felt like every weekend there was a church conference. Like this is when Lecrae was still performing in church basements. My church being one of them. Christian hip hop was brand new. Being young in the faith became its own subculture again, like it was cool. But instead of it being like the Jesus People movement in the 60s and 70s, which also was like a huge undercurrent of faith for young people, this was like all hip hop, street culture, kids from inner cities starting a Christian movement. It was like that. That's the best way that I can put it. But we were all really young. Even our leadership was young, and we were growing up together. So miscommunication happened. Lots of judgment was passed on situations that we didn't have any context for. Shame creeped in when we thought someone was being a quote unquote better Christian than we were. I mean, like they say, things fell apart. And I decided to leave. And once I left that community, which was my covering, that led me to a whole different life. And even though I said I never wanted to go back, I always wished that someone would try and bring me back anyway. But they never did. I have this thing about voice notes. I like to send them instead of just regular text message, actual text messages. I don't know. It seems more personal, more intimate. So I send them all the time. And when I read the James verse this week, I had already discerned within my spirit who I should reach out to. I ignored Pastor Phil's message a couple days prior, even though it was spot on. I ignored it, even though, I felt that prick, you know, even though during his sermon I thought about that person. I just ignored it. And then I came across the James verse again, and I was like, okay, okay, okay. God, I don't want to reach out to this person. This is so whack, right? Like, what if they don't respond and I'm just out here? They were in my faith community at one point, and they said they didn't want to be a part of it anymore. Like, there's nothing else to say. And then I just kept remembering how I felt when it was me. And I hadn't thought about that in a while. So I knew if it was a feeling, like if I was feeling it fresh like that, I knew it was so that I could use it to be, I needed to use that sensitivity I had for that person. So I sent them a voice note. Sometimes people just need to know that the absence of their presence matters to you. And I mean, as of today, as of me talking to you, they haven't responded. But that's not really important to me. We all know his ways are mysterious. But that's not important to me. What is important to me was that I was obedient. And we all know his ways are mysterious. Maybe if you're a person of faith, you know that you love the Lord, you know that you follow Jesus, and there is somebody in your faith community that you left, or somebody that you even have top of mind while you're listening to me talk about this right now. Maybe you should pray about going back to get them. You may be the one that the Lord is trying to send for them. Anyway, I'm gonna get up out of here. I'm going to a pretty unique place this weekend that I will share in this month's vlog. I've never been. I'm really excited. I'm kind of, I am excited, but I'm also curious. Um, so we will see what happens. And if you do the panda puzzle, let me know in the comments. And I'll see you next time, Lord willing. Bye.